Moving on quickly to the 95% of decision making happens at a subconscious level. We knew that we needed new research methodologies to unlock this. And the first one that we used is from a company in the US called OZA. Started by a Harvard Business School professor, Jerry Zaltman, who is the Z and ZMET there. And they pioneered a methodology that accessed the subconscious mind. And it just gives a whole new level of understanding of what your brand stands for in consumers' minds. On top of that, we've done quite a lot of work with implicit association, which is a fast, fairly cost-effective, and very effective mechanism to get new understanding. We've worked a little bit with neuroimaging, which is literally where people are measuring what's going on in people's brains. And I think one of the most exciting developments at the moment is this whole area in biometric responses, which is beginning to give us access to methodologies that help us understand how people are actually feeling rather than thinking. So there is an enormous emerging world in this. Our real hope is that as we go forward, we'll partner with our local partners on this when they develop capability in this space, and we're able to combine it with local market understanding as well as our brand understanding. But quite literally, this whole field is kind of emerging with small industries all around the world, and at some point it will all come together. The other thing that is quite profound is this whole space of implicit messaging, which I'll talk about now, and the associated brain. One of the simplest decisions that we made when we put the lens of implicit messaging on was around how we treat our food in all of our communication. So historically, in our industry, it's referred to as food porn. So very often, you'll find advertising in this sector that will cut away to 15 or maybe even 20 seconds of slow motion tumbling food. And if you find food shots, it's very likely to be something like this bucket over here, which is full to the top, and it'll be beautifully treated, and the idea is to have appetite appeal, etc. And that's all great if your lens is explicit. If you start thinking, what is the implicit message that we attach with that? And there's no human interaction with this food. And if it's full and nobody's touched it, implicitly, it starts feeling as though it's not so desirable anymore. So you'll find that a lot of times in our advertising now, our food will, rather than being a full bucket, it'll be half empty, and it'll probably have a person's hand reaching in and taking the product out. There are a couple of ads where we've gone even further, where we've actually shown in one of our Crushers ad, it's all about the product being completely empty. There's nothing more desirable than when somebody's completely finished what they started. So implicit messaging puts an entirely new lens on everything that we look at. And I think this is a really exciting space for us. And then, I spoke a bit about storytelling and the associated brand. I'm going to play you this ad now. I mean, it's a story that we all know well. It's a little kid who's got an imaginary friend. It's not a new story, but we tell it in a KFC way with a little bit of a twist. And I think these things work really well because at heart we are storytellers. We've evolved as storytellers, so everybody loves a good story. I'll just play you the ad.
Hi, Kulu. Come on, Louis.
Mama, you imagine that a friend there from nowhere.
Go to the toilet.
No, Kulu. Louis is inside.
I'm quickly.
One for you, one for you,
It's his imagination friend.
Has anybody seen Louis?
Nansa yako okukoka Louis.
Louis is not hungry.
I think the world of business has become too rational, and we need to take some of these ideas and translate them not just into marketing, but you know, and Einstein understood this, and he said it better than anybody. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is the face of the servant. And we've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And too often within marketing organizations, what happens is, you know, through hierarchy and things, what you need is to justify and rationalize your decision to somebody else. And you know, now that you understand how the brain works, as soon as you're doing that, you're engaging the conscious brain. You know, so what we have to do as marketing people, we have to relearn the art of intuitive thinking. We have to think less, and we have to feel more if we want to get breakthrough. And we know that that's important because of the third bucket, which is this whole space around emotion over reason. And people make decisions emotionally, not rationally.